As you walk through the valley of the shadow of hell, you will realize that there is something ahead. Something that lurks behind the dark veil. A veil that is beyond our own comprehension. Beyond the void.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void
Horror Podcast.
That's right, it's episode 129, and today we're going to be doing some flesh and potatoes, which basically means 2 movies. I decided that we should start doing new and old in an episode so that it's something that's brand new and something that's kind of old. That way we cover the whole spectrum when we do these, instead of just like berating people with like 80s, you know? So, by the way, guys, today, what we're going to be talking about today is 2 movies. One that just came out not too long ago, and one that's pretty old. One of them we're going to be talking about today is
Cherokee Creek.
Right, which just came out
2018.
So that's a newer one. That came by suggestion by In the Mic of Madness, which is one of our friends' podcasts. We got like 3 people. Brad's been on the show here with us. So has Jason, but we haven't got Rebecca yet. So one day, she's really cool.
We're going to get you.
Super cool. But yeah, they suggested it to me, and then I got hit up shortly after by Todd Jenkins, the director, on Twitter. He sent it over to me and said, hey, if you want to check it out, you know, I was like, thanks, man. So he gave us the final cut, like the real full movie that they don't show for some reason on Amazon. So I don't know. I don't know how much is cut from that one on Amazon. So I'm not too sure. I should have asked him probably, but we watched that. And we also watched Beasties, which came out 91, probably was made in 1987, and
it's very 80s,
right? Like, because it feels like a total 80s movie. But this movie, Beasties, is kind of like a creature feature Beasties. So we get 2 movies, one with Sasquatch and killing, and then Beasties killing. So I thought it'd be kind of a cool Sleazy Beasties episode because both of these movies are kind of sleazy and they have beasts in them. So Sleazy Beasties.
There you go.
But yeah, so we're gonna go over that here in just a second. But how are you doing anyway?
I'm good.
Yeah,
It's been a thing.
Brittany was doing surgery on hot dogs and putting them under a microscope. Apparently,
It was great.
Why don't you tell them a little bit about that?
So I'm started a new job. Big part of my new job is where I have to like receive, cut, and prepare like frozen sections for specimens, and I'm in surgical and anatomic pathology is where I work. So I am not signed off on doing that process yet because it's a very like in-depth and detailed procedure. Right. That, I mean, like if you fuck up a specimen, like the pathologist can miss a diagnosis. Like it's that serious. So I was practicing today because I'm hoping to get signed off within the next couple of days to be able to do it. So I brought in a hot dog to practice on. And
I practice on a hot dog,
which
too.
Was the
frozen hot dogs,
we
right?
No, was it no?
Do you get what I'm saying?
Never mind. Yeah. Now I'm picking up what you're putting down. But the lead pathologist actually suggested that we do the hot dog thing because we were gonna go down to the morgue and grab a leg amputation that was down there and then like cut pieces off of that.
Okay.
And do that, but there's a risk of like contamination or whatever. Like when you do shit like that, the tissue might be necrotic at this point. You never really know. So
right.
He was like, why don't you just bring in a hot dog? He's like, then you don't have to like completely decontaminate the entire cryostat like after you use it. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll do that. So I brought in a hot dog and practiced that. And then I got to practice on some actual specimens today, which was really cool. So
hot dogs are sanitary.
Apparently.
Sanitary hot dogs.
Yeah, he was like, not cooked. And whatever, and I was like,
and
right.
tell them what you said that you found out about, like the hot dog that you did.
Oh, so we actually like one of the doctors the pathologist that was working with us today was like actually okay with like looking at the sections that I did, and I stained on the slides like under a microscope so we could look at
what the makeup of the hot dog is.
Yeah, and she's like, be prepared because typically it's really fucking gross. Like there's always like brain and all kinds of different pieces of organs from all kinds of different animals, and it's really fatty and it's just nasty. And it'll make you never want to eat a hot dog again. And then we
pig lips and assholes.
Yeah, and then mine that I brought in was actually mostly like skeletal tissue or whatever, and like.
Dude.
Plant matter. So
plant
there was,
matter.
Like,
that's
actual like vegetables in there, vegetation or whatever, and like virtually no fat. So it was actually like a really good hot dog.
And tell them what the best hot dog to eat is. Apparently, after looking at it under a microscope,
it was apparently like this little Oscar Mayer little smoky thing, or they call them smokies. They're not like the tiny hot dogs, like the regular size ones, but they're called like smokies or some shit.
I have a feeling that this is the reason I wanted you to bring this up is because like I feel like Oscar Mayer. You know how they always talk about it grows in size. You know,
That's
like
probably why.
It expands. It's because they're probably the vegeta whatever in it. The vegetin. I'm thinking of Vegemite or some shit.
Fucking fine. I understand what
but
you're
you know
saying.
what I mean? Like the vegetable shit makes it expand in some way or something. I don't know. I've eaten veggie dogs and they don't do that shit, so I don't know.
I have no idea. Like, who fucking knows?
So those are the cleanest hot dogs. She even said, her doctor said.
She asked if it was a kosher hot dog, and I was like, no. It's not. It's definitely not. She's like, yeah, this is similar to, kosher hot dogs. Those are typically the best looking ones. Like,
right.
And I'm like, well, yeah.
They go in easy.
That's like their job, specifically when they're kosher.
You don't have to cut the tip off or anything?
No.
Oh, no, you do have to cut
the tip off. If it's really kosher, I would imagine you have to cut the tip off.
Oh, my God. Anyways, so
yeah. Apparently I'm a natural at cutting frozens sections, which is really cool to know because that shit is fucking hard.
Anytime I hear about hot dogs in the hospital or like some sort of like pathology, it's usually when they're trying to get one out, like because that
someone
whole
sat on it.
Urban legend where the girl, like I heard this in school when I was a kid, but the fucking chick that fucking fucked a frozen hot dog and then like got it stuck inside of her because it broke off because she was getting a little into it. And she couldn't fish it out, you know what I mean?
I've never heard that before.
Well, and if
that's
you guys...
gross.
Yeah, I know. That's like an urban legend, though, I think. I don't know if that's...
I'm sure this has happened. So.
It probably has.
There's plenty of times that we've had to pull an old fucking condom out of a girl at my old job. Like, this is a thing.
It's
this
funny.
Happens. Like, it'll fall off. They'll lose it, and then like they can't fucking get it because it's like up behind the center, like it's somewhere.
Yeah.
And so we've had to literally go in, like we're gonna do a pap smear, similar to like removing an IUD, and then you're like, what the fuck is that? And it's a fucking condom.
Is it a pretty commonplace thing? Because like,
it's not. I wouldn't say it's commonplace, but it happens.
Yeah.
It's just like all the shit that gets stuck up dudes' butts.
My buddy, I don't know if I should say who it is. He was telling me about somebody that he and I mutually know. She said, I'm sorry. This is totally fucked up. But she fucking said that she found a condom in her after having sex with multiple people. And he was like, yeah, no, I'm not interested.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I'm good, yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, at least she's using protection.
Yeah, no, I mean, kudos.
That's
well,
cool.
Is it really protected when it's inside of you?
Well, I mean, like, she was thinking she was. So she had the intention of using protection, which is good, good. I mean, I'm all for people slutting it up, just like...
Hey, man, yeah, I'm not slut-shaming here.
Don't be gross
I was a
about
slut
it.
once, too. You know?
Like, wrap your willy and take birth control or do something.
Yeah, but it's not... Hey, I like it on skin, like a man, and flesh. It's in one of the movies we're going to talk about, by the way.
I know. I remember I was like, fucking gross.
For me, by the way, I have not been doing all that much. I just been kind of like, well, I've been doing a lot. I've been doing a lot of everything, and I haven't had any time to myself. So I worked on the fucking trailer for the movie we made up last week called Dave Did It, which took me like literally, guys.
Who the fuck is Dave?
Yeah, who the fuck is Dave? I even did my own voice acting, but I had to rush. Like, if I would have had more time, guys, that would have been a spotless thing. But for the general public, most people don't give a shit. You know, like, there's minor things in the trailer that I made. But if you haven't checked it out, please like it, thumbs up, whatever, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube. Because I spent, like, probably, like, 25 hours on finding footage and putting it together over 3 fucking days, and it's 1minute and 45 fucking seconds. Anybody who edits, you probably know what I'm fucking talking about. But when you're having that many short cuts, it's like you have to be very specific. And even the program I'm using, like, doesn't allow it has a lot of room for error. So I don't know. I gotta figure out some other way to learn to teach myself. But I hope you guys watched it, you pieces of shit.
Look, I liked it.
I'm kidding. Yeah.
It was fun.
No, I got a lot of great compliments, so it really made me feel better. Because, like, seriously, when I was sitting there doing it and I was being Mr. Perfectionist, you know, like, oh, it's got to be here, it's got to do this, and, you know, like, I had to let go, you know, because I was just getting too crazy with it. And I was like, man, I'm going to do all this work and no one's going to fucking watch it. So, but anyway. But I think it might be that time.
What time is it?
Horrorshots! All right, guys. So for all of you new listeners, because I know that we get thousands of you every week, and we love all of you for coming by and just treating us like a cheap slut.
Bitch.
But we figured we'd do a shot based around Cherokee Creek. So, Todd, if you're listening, this is your shot. It's called the Milkfoot. And why is it called the Milkfoot? Well, in this movie...
You stick your foot in a bunch of milk.
Yeah, no.
And then lick it clean.
So in this movie, I'm going to spoil just a little bit, but not a lot. There is a scene where a guy turns around and essentially comes in the general direction, or in my wonderful mind, onto the foot of Bigfoot. And he kills him. So... I thought it'd be funny to call this shot a Milkfoot.
He kills him. Therefore, he is dead.
I won't say how. I can't spoil that. But how would you like to have a Milkfoot in your mouth? All you have to do is put in 1/4 part Bailey's Irish cream, 1/4 part creme de menthe, 1/4 part cinnamon schnapps. Yes, this is a frou-frou drink. And 1/4 part milk.
Got milk?
Yeah. So it's essentially an Eskimo Joe recipe, but for this one, when you are about to take your shot, you're going to, of course, mix it up first, and you're going to look at your friend in the face and pretend to jerk off and say, "Who's your daddy?" Like in the movie.
Gross.
Now, how about that? Now, I can't promise this is going to taste like semen or anything like that, so for all you semen hounds...
I mean, it depends on how much you regulate your man's spunk.
God, this one tastes like asparagus.
I mean, like, I heavily regulate that shit when I know I'm going to be sucking the D. I'm like, this is what you're going to eat for 24 to 48 hours
lemons,
prior to me sucking your D.
Sugar, spice, and everything I like that's
everything
nice.
that I want to put in my mouth. So, there you go.
I.e.
Pineapple.
Pineapple
is good.
Not asparagus.
Fruity Pebbles are also badass.
Dude, every time I eat asparagus, literally, it hits my bloodstream. It's almost like fucking some sort of drug. It's like cocaine.
Yeah.
I go take a fucking piss.
I will not.
And it smells like fucking asparagus.
I will not suck Mouse's dick for like several days after we've had asparagus. I'm like, no, thank you.
Maybe you should just like, never mind. I'm going to stop.
I can't remember
We've
what
already
he
got a
calls
little
it.
taste list right now already, so.
He calls them like stink pea sticks or something like that. Whenever like I make asparagus, he's like, oh, we're having stinky pea sticks. And
I
I'm
like
yep.
asparagus. So
I love
don't know.
asparagus.
I didn't like it when I was young, but if it's chewy, then I kind of get weirded out. But if it's cooked just right,
it's fucking delicious.
It's delicious. Anyway, now that you guys are super interested in drinking something, all you have to do is go to longlivethevoid.com to check out our hashtag Horrorshots section for your Milkfoot right fucking now. That's it for Horrorshots.
Horrorshots.
All right, guys. So now we're not going to be doing the news today because one of these movies, which we're going to do last, we're going to break down the entire movie because, one, it's going to be really hard to find this movie, and two, if you are able to find it, there's like 3 different versions out there. So we're going to do our detailing, and we'll save that for last. That'll be Beasties, and we'll save that for last. So now we're just going to go ahead and jump into our flesh and potatoes right
Now.
All right, guys, so now we're going to jump into the first movie, which is...
Cherokee Creek, which was released in 2018.
Dun, dun, dun.
The general premise of this movie is a bachelor party in the woods gets crashed by the ultimate party animal.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Which is, well, they don't say that. They don't say what it is, but it is
It's a Bigfoot.
It's a Bigfoot movie, all right?
It's Sasquatch. Like, it's there. It's a thing. This movie was directed by Todd Jenkins, who has also directed some other, I believe they're all shorts, actually. Vows, Y, and Harvey and Peter.
Nice.
It was written by Jarrett Bigelow, who did the original story concept, who worked on this movie. Billy Blair, who also did the original story and concept. And Araceli Jenkins, who also did the original story and concept.
Yeah, because it felt like those guys are really close friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there was no... Or just really good acting then, because it seemed like they were. You know what I mean? So,
last but not least, Todd Jenkins also wrote the screenplay for this movie. And I think he had something to do with the original story and concept for this, too.
So it was like
a million people wrote this movie. It stars Billy Blair, who plays Vinny Blades, who has been in such films as Machete Kills.
Machete.
Am I saying it wrong?
No, you're saying it right. It's just funny.
Machete.
You're like, and it also has machete.
Machete Kills.
Like you're some fucking old white lady sitting.
Bigfoot Wars.
And on today's class,
like,
we're going to be studying machete.
I'll fucking say everything like that, too. It'll be fucking hilarious. Bigfoot Wars. He was in Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. Dead Awake. Most recently, he has been in Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was just released. And he is also going to be in Three from Hell.
Yeah.
Which...
I like him. I think he's a good actor. I really like him. I actually really do. There's something unique about him. I don't know what it is.
It's his face. He has a unique
well,
face.
he definitely does. But he's been in a lot of stuff.
He's one of those people where you're like, he's going to be it's that guy.
Right.
Kind of people. You know what I mean?
He feels like a natural actor for the most part. Like a little bit over the top for this movie in particular.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's supposed to be that way, though. That's this film, anyway. Sorry.
That's okay. It also has Todd Jenkins, who plays Jinx, who was in Fright Flick, Blood Sombrero, which sounds amazing, Apocalypse Road, The Summoning, and Howlers, and a handful of other things. It also has Justin Armstrong, who plays Pat, who was in The Ouija Experiment, Ghost Note, and Inhumane. It also has Justin Duncan, who plays Jarrett, who was also in Ghost Note, a movie called Anna, and a short called Escape the Dead. It also has Olivia Sabini, who plays Caroline, who was in a film called Roram, Star Watch, and The Baptist in the Basement. It also has Jeff Swearingen, who plays Chad, and Swearingen is like the literal greatest last name ever because it makes me think of Al Swearingen from Deadwood. And they just announced Deadwood movie is coming out in May.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
He was also, by the way, Todd Jenkins I remember him from Knuckle Bones, which is a movie.
Oh.
It was like a slasher movie. I got that free in my, well, not free, but I got it in one of my,
well, they'll yell at you.
those horror boxes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I miss those. So Jeff Swearingen, who plays Chad, who was in A Savior Red, Big Yellow A-Hole, which is apparently a TV series, which I need to fucking find, because I'm sure it's not at all what I think it's about, but it sounds great. And also the TV series Revolution. Last but not least, it has Jason P. Kendall, who plays Drew, who was in Midgets vs. Mascots. Reagan from...
I've heard of that.
Yeah, he's like a ticket taker or something like that. He doesn't have like a big part in it.
Right,
but,
okay.
He also did a documentary called Reagan from Movie Star to President and a TV series called Murder Made Me Famous.
Okay.
So, Alex...
Yes.
What do you think about this movie?
Well, it's garbage. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. I mean, I agree.
No. I think this movie was a lot better than I originally thought it was going to be honest. And I'm actually pretty glad I watched it because I had a really fun time watching it. I was first introduced to it, like I mentioned, by the guys over in the Mike of Madness podcast. If you haven't followed them, check them out. And they actually interviewed the director too. So a lot of our trivia, we were gonna do our own trivia, but a lot of the stuff that we caught was going to be through theirs, and we figured, well, maybe it'd just be better if you guys just checked out their interview, because it's a lot of fun anyway. So big shout out. I'll post the link down below, by the way. But yeah, I immediately started laughing, like right off the bat, and I was like, Christina was like half asleep, and I thought I was laughing by myself. Like I didn't realize she was passed out. Like, so I was like, is this not funny or something? I was like, I'm laughing. Like, is that wrong? And she was like, what? I'm sleeping. I'm sleeping. But I immediately was laughing and I was cracking up. Was it like that the entire movie? It's a little spotty at times, but it sort of dipped a little bit. Perhaps, maybe it was due because of the frequency of the jokes that they were trying to throw out there. Sometimes that happens in a comedy movie. Yeah. You get so many that you're barraged with it that you become desensitized to jokes in a way.
Like immune.
Right.
I'm immune to jokes now. Thank you.
But it does pick up quite a bit, a few times throughout the whole, film. And I really do like Todd Jenkins and Billy Blair together in this. I think that they would work really well, especially the very beginning of the movie. In the very beginning, when they're like in the van and stuff, I won't spoil it, and they're doing that thing or whatever. I was laughing a lot. And I felt like the cadence of that was like going really quick and kind of similar to something like Tarantino-esque in a indie way, in a way. So the way that it was written, where they talk about things that you wouldn't normally talk about. Kind of like, what's the fucking movie with fucking Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta are going back and forth in the car talking about Royale with cheese.
Oh, yeah.
And just that whole, like, air about it in some way. The writing feels very familiar in that way. I don't know that was necessarily what they intended, but that's just kind of what went in my mind because it was I was, like, elated, like, enjoying the ride a little bit. And then there was, like, these silly jokes that didn't really make sense, but also were way, way more lowbrow than compared to maybe like Tarantino-esque films, but they still went there, kind of like Tarantino-esque films, I guess. So, but they add a bunch more characters into the mix, and it sort of slows down in parts, like almost to a crawl, but just to kind of like get the story elements out there. I don't know, but maybe it's just a pacing thing, and comedy all kind of quickly working together. I don't know. Plus, of course, later on, they introduce Bigfoot, of course, the big star in the background, sort of, because in a lot of ways, I feel like this movie is more of a comedy than it is like a horror movie, but it definitely is a horror movie. So it does have its gore, for sure, and I think most gorehounds' appetites should be satiated. But don't, go in expecting the whole movie covered in blood. It's definitely not that kind of movie, but it has its fair share of like, oh, fuck, why are you showing that? Like, I think at heart, it's more of just a comedy movie, though. And it does have its Bigfoot stuff in there, and it definitely wraps up with Bigfoot. But it feels a little bit more like 30% Bigfoot, maybe 40%, and the rest is just comedy up to that point.
I think it's like 25% Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's a smaller portion, but that doesn't. I'm not saying that to take away from it. It doesn't mean it's not a horror movie by any means. It's got that sort of old style nod to the like sleazy horror comedy, or just sleazy 80s kind of feel, where it's like, male libidos and like sex and all that kind of stuff. Sleazy comedy sphere somewhere in there, but while adding in some of the horror elements, sort of kind of like a wink and a nod, to that centuries or whatever style of humor. Anyway, I definitely doesn't shy away from the sexual nature in this film, and I give a full pants off to Todd Jenkins, because holy fuck, dude. He got stark ass naked in this fucking film, and I probably wouldn't be able to do that, I don't think, but he definitely did it. So not something I wanted to see, by the way, but kudos to you,
I
man.
Did. Yeah. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. I'm in.
Anyway, so dicks, I mean, shit, overall, I think this overall, though, I really do think it is a good movie, guys. So it's self-aware, and it's actually shot really well, which is kind of a big gripe with me when I start to watch independent films, is that it just doesn't flow right. And I didn't feel distracted by the cinematography or the direction or anything like that. I thought it was really well shot, and because it was self-aware, I think those two things combined, as far as the humor and stuff goes, I think it kind of like satiated any critiques that I might have harshly about the film, because I kind of got the vibe pretty early. And I think that was what their goal was. So I think I would probably give this like a 6.5 or a 7 in that genre of some sorts, but probably a 6.5 overall. But that's not to say it's not a good movie. I will probably watch this again in the near future. But I enjoyed it. I think it's an indie done well, in my opinion. And I can definitely see that him doing more movies, Todd, doing his thing, I think you could see a lot more from him in the future, and it might be cool to see Todd and Billy team up again, because I really feel like they were the strongest characters in the film, and I thought that they really bounced off each other pretty well. So I would like to see that anyway. I could literally watch, how they do those movies where it's like Simon Pegg and
that one guy.
Yeah, and like I could just see like a whole.
Never remember his name.
Yeah,
but
like
I love
a
him.
different situation for the same two guys. Like I don't know.
Or like Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah, maybe they're not as Simon Pegg, stars or whatever, but I definitely think it'd be interesting. So, what about you though? What did you think of the movie?
I mean,
you're not as positive about it as I am.
No. There's.
Are you offended, Brittany?
There's a couple. No, it takes a lot to offend me.
Yeah, I know.
There's a couple like redeeming qualities of this this film that brought me back to being like okay with it.
Okay.
But it feels like what it is essentially is that a bunch of fucking bros got together and wrote a movie and then made a fucking movie and bro, like that's what happened. Like also I would like I'm going to put this job out on someone else because I'm not going to do it, to actually go and count how many times they say fuck from start to finish.
Oh, that's a drinking
this movie
game waiting
because
to happen.
I guarantee you it's got to be a record.
That should be in the
It's going to
DVD.
be up there with the Tarantino film.
Really?
Like, for sure. Like just in the opening little thing where they're where they're dressed up as robbers or whatever, like threatening you for hoping that you didn't like stream the movie for free and you didn't steal it. And
Oh
you actually,
yeah,
like,
that's
watched it
just
or bought
funny
it or whatever. But like from that through the movie and then to the ending part with that too, I'm like, count all the fucks or the motherfuckers. I guarantee you it's a lot.
I think that was more off the top. Like they were just doing it.
That
improv.
seemed all very like improv.
Yeah, it seemed like very improv. Yeah,
I don't know.
They kind of had a gist of what they wanted to say.
But it was like, to me, it like starts off like that right away, and I'm like,
yeah. I think it was cool to watch that. I thought that was like a nice little extra.
I get what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I understand the effort behind it, but I was just like, I'm in for a ride here.
It's better than an FBI warning that just sits there like a fucking dead fish.
I know, I do like their take on an FBI warning, I guess. Like,
exactly.
Thanks, gentlemen.
I'd rather watch that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, this is a bro movie for sure.
Oh
like,
God, here we go. No,
it
I'm
is
kidding.
though. Like I'm just saying, it's a guy movie. It's like you get with your dude friends and drink beers and watch this movie. And
sure.
That's it. Like I don't foresee a lot of women ever getting behind this movie.
I think I think you'd be surprised.
I don't know.
Rebecca was really into it.
Yeah, it's cool for Rebecca, but I don't know. Like I didn't hate it by any means. I've seen a million worse movies, but I don't want to shit on it because like they work hard.
Yeah, it's apparently 3 years.
And to make this and for this type of a movie in an indie film that they probably paid for themselves, essentially, like they did a really good job. You know what I mean? Like it's shot well, and I agree with you on that. It is shot well. It looks like more on the lines of like a higher budget film. It doesn't look like, you paid your fucking shaky cousin to film.
Yeah.
You with a fucking camera, and
old
then
shaky
like,
Jared.
Yeah, and then there's like cuts where the audio's all fucked up, or like the audio doesn't match the visual or whatever. Like it's not like that. It's actually a really streamlined movie, but it starts off slow and then it picks up a little bit and then it's really fucking slow for a really long time.
I thought it started off pretty quick.
Like it did, but
I thought it slowed down after that beginning.
I don't know. It was like, and then it's nothing for a while. And then, like, yeah, I mean, I get with the hunters or whatever. Like, it starts off kind of like, oh, shit. But then nothing into oblivion for a while, and I'm like, where is this going?
Yeah.
Like,
well, there's some funny stuff in there, like I don't want to spoil it just yet. We'll get into some of that.
And there's like some, funny-ish conversations or whatever going on. Like
it has some dry humor in it.
There is, and I appreciate nods like that and everything, but I just like when it picks up towards the last probably 30, 40 minutes ish of the movie. Mainly because people start dying, and that's when I'm like, fuck yes. This is what I'm waiting for. Like, people to die, and then it, suddenly takes this real sharp turn into a porn.
Yeah.
And
that
I'm
was
like,
my favorite
what
part.
the fuck is going on with this movie? I'm sitting there, and I'm just, watching this fucking shit, and I'm by myself, because, Mouse is at practice, and I'm sitting there, what is going on? And then, of course, he comes home when, Todd, right? Todd's getting his dick sucked or whatever.
Well, it's Jinx.
Jinx is getting his dick sucked, and it's just all these noises, and Mouse is like, the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, watching porn, apparently. He's like, you guys are doing a porn movie? And I'm like, no, Alex won't let me do a porn movie.
I didn't say we couldn't do
rude.
it. I didn't say we couldn't do it, but there's not going to be much conversation.
That's enough.
Literally, there's going to be 5 minutes of fucking dialogue and the 2.5 hours of fucking. And we get to basically, okay, and now he's going in for the sploosh on the face.
That'll be perfect, though. Can you imagine that?
Money shots
Just
are made in heaven.
Verbatim, word for word breakdowns of a porno. Hilarious.
I mean, it would be funny. They have done that. Comedians watching porn.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they had,
it's pretty funny. It's all improv.
Oh my god, I love that shit when they're speaking to the porn stars,
right,
or whatever. Oh my god.
So you just didn't you weren't attracted to the people, so it was not a thing, or you just felt like it was totally out of place.
Porn?
The porn in this movie, the sexual. I didn't really think it was that much.
I didn't think it was out of place by any means. You obviously know what's going there. They brought strippers, so
I wonder if they cut the dick out.
It's gonna get
because they do that on Amazon. Like that other guy that I did, Matt Price, who did a movie called I always forget his fucking movie.
Well,
dude.
supposedly they took this movie off of Amazon, or maybe they had to edit it to put it back on or whatever because it was too graphic.
Huh.
Or whatever, and it was too
yeah, add that to the cover.
Ridiculous content or some shit. And I'm like, there's so many other movies. Everybody's fucking fine with full on female nudity. It's not a problem. But God forbid you show a fucking dingle.
Yeah, man.
Here and there, everybody fucking loses their mind, and I don't get it because dicks.
Everyone just loses their mind.
Dicks are so ridiculous looking. It's hilarious. Why
I'm
would
not
you not
offended by seeing dicks, nor am I.
I want to look at it.
Right.
It's funny.
And when I see a guy's dick get cut off, I kind of it's oh shit, I wish that wouldn't happen to me. But holy fuck, it's not real.
Hilarious. Shit is hilarious.
Well, although somebody does show their dick in it, and
he does. It's a nice dick too. I'm gonna compliment it. It's a
Proud of
nice
you.
dick.
We're
I was
proud of you.
all right then. And it's hilarious because he does these fucking. This is what I appreciated was him being so spot on with prepping himself for this moment.
Yeah.
Because dudes do that.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do this.
You guys fucking do that.
Do we? I don't. I've never done that.
My ex did that all the time. He never thought I knew about it, but I fucking knew about it.
I just can't wait. We just get to it, and then the clothes go flying.
Not when it's heat of the moment.
I don't
kind of
present
thing, but if there's
myself.
a
I'm not
moment where you
hey.
get to. Well, it's not when there's a moment where you get to prep for it. Kind of, it's usually when the girl's I'm gonna slip into something more comfortable.
So it's interesting because I'm
gonna do 20 sit-ups.
I won't do that for sex, but when I'm about to take a shit, I'll have her turn her back and be like, okay, hold on, now wait, and then turn around and then I shit, right? That would be really weird. No, I don't
when
do
you're
that.
shitting on the bed?
No.
What are you doing?
Wow.
Where are you shitting to where she's in the same room as you?
No, I'm not shitting on the bed, Brittany.
Why would she be
But
in
I
the
will
same room
admit,
as
there
you?
was one night I was drunk and I woke up cuddling with a log of my own shit.
Did you?
No.
That's cute. That's sweet. I know what to get you for Christmas.
What?
I'm gonna get you a Mr.
Some
Hanky.
toilet paper?
No, I'm gonna get you a Mr. Hanky, a big old stuffed Mr. Hanky.
Oh, okay.
And they're here's a real Christmas pig.
For whatever reason, when you said that, when you said hanky, I just thought of like one of those elephant socks. The
For your
male.
dick?
Yeah. Anyway.
I guess that'll work.
Sorry,
too.
I'm
I don't
totally derailing everything that you're saying.
know. No,
but
it's cool. I don't know.
I'll fight you.
It's fine.
Maybe you just weren't in the mood for it at the time.
Maybe. You know what? Because I feel like if like get a couple whiskeys in me and I sit back down to watch this movie, I'm gonna love it.
That's
like,
the kind of movie it is to me.
It's just maybe it wasn't because it was a bad day that I had already.
So you took it out on someone's artwork.
No, and
that's cool.
I've said 100 times already. Like I'm not trying to shit on it, but
I know,
like
I'm kidding.
I don't know. Like I was literally sitting there being like, this is a dude movie. Like it's totally a dude movie, which is fucking fine.
Well, I mean, it was written by dudes.
It's obviously it's like a bunch of best friends got together and wrote and fucking filmed a movie. And
I thought it was
what
fun. It kind of reminds me of like the early 2000s comedies in a way.
Yeah, and I agree with that aspect too. But
You know, like
I don't know.
what is it? What's that one with Ryan Reynolds where they go Van Wilder?
That Van Wilder.
It's kind of like that, but a little bit more smarter. Do you know? It's a little bit more smarter. Wow, I'm really good. It's smarter.
You're the real smartest.
Yeah, I'm smarter
You're the
than you.
smartest. Give me that. You don't need it.
I want it.
Clearly.
No, this is mine.
Clearly, you don't need it.
I'm drinking Dewar's White Label, which tastes like rubber bands. So either I'm gonna like. I'm serious.
Which tastes like rubber bands.
I'm
like,
not
I want
joking.
to try it.
All right, hold on.
Let me try the rubber bands. You drink what you want and then give me the rest. I don't want your AIDS.
Whoa!
Rubber bands. Have you ever licked a rubber band before?
I mean, I've put one in my mouth.
I've put one in my mouth before too. Like, why would you do that? But like, I've done it. Like, I like chewing on them. I don't know. I'm fucking weird.
You want that? Yep. Oof.
Can I drink the whole rubber bandy thing?
I just wanted to pick
Do you
it up
want
a
it
little.
back?
No, I'm good. Go ahead and finish it up. I wouldn't taste it. I wouldn't sip it. Oh, like I like how you pre-shot that.
Mm-hmm. I don't like the taste of rubber bands.
Yeah. Doesn't it kind of taste like it? Like something synthetic and
I've
plastic?
Absolutely chewed on rubber bands.
But it's pure scotch. It's like white label scotch. Anyway.
Yeah, it's in a glass bottle. It's legit.
Yeah, I only drink piss water. So
Me
piss
too.
water and shitty vodka or
Literally.
shitty whiskey. What am I talking about?
Shitty vodka. I drink
used
shitty
to.
whiskey too. It's fine. I drink all whiskey. I don't discriminate against whiskey.
Well,
I'm gonna drink it all.
I will say this though, like, you know, I can see that it definitely is not going to be for everybody.
No.
You know what I mean? Like the humor is a little bit too much for I think most people these days, but I kind of is refreshing to see it because everything is so finely pruned and please don't hurt my feelings.
Well, and that's like I
you
feel
know?
like this movie would have done better 10 years ago.
Yeah, probably.
Now,
but
not so much.
I don't know. It was kind of a throwback to the 2000 era.
Yeah, and
Late
it's
2000s or whatever.
It's fine. Like they did their thing. They made a fucking movie that's badass. Like, and good for them. Like
Yeah.
they could have done a million worse things with this, and they didn't. So you know, it's not gonna be for everybody. It's not my favorite fucking movie. I'm not gonna rave about it to all of my friends by any
Okay.
means, but I would totally get shithouse hammered and watch this movie again with a group of people who've never seen it.
Okay.
Preferably my dude friends, which is mostly all I ever hang out with anymore, and they're all gonna love it, and then I'm just gonna be like, cool, you know. But a little
You'll
bit,
come around,
a little
Brittany.
bit of me,
You'll come
a
around!
little tiny bit of me that wants to be like my, you know, join my feminist side and just be like,
whatever.
this
You're
is
not
so
even
fucked
like
up.
that.
I don't know, but I
You're-
can't because I don't care.
Yeah, you
So-
really don't care. That's what I'm saying. You're not a feminist.
No, I'm not. I'm absolutely.
You're a
not.
female.
I'm a lady.
Yeah.
Sort of.
That farts and burps in here all
No
the
poor
time.
excuse for a lady. I have yet to fart in here.
I know.
I warned you today it might happen, but that you know of. I have farted in here. You just didn't know about it, but that's fine.
It's like, I'm going to rip now.
Now I am. Now I don't have to. Of course. Anyways, I'm disgusting. I don't know how I got married, but I did.
Whatever.
I don't know how other people
No,
want to have
and
sex with
just
me, but they do.
just to vouch for Brittany, she has a wide range of humor too, and she would not be on this show if she was that uptight about anything.
I'm
yeah,
not. Like that's I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like I just didn't.
unless you're just like secretly like, I'm just gonna fucking ruin you one day.
Yeah, like little do you know,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
just wait till your fucking day comes.
I don't know. To me, I was like not very much on board. Like I messaged Alex and I was like, I don't fucking know about this movie, dude. And then a magical thing happened right after I sent that message, and I was like, all right, I'm in. And then
And there was that scene that we made a shot around.
and then the porn thing happened, and I'm like, But then I get it, so I'm not upset about it. It's just kind of like...
There's far worse movies that have done that in bigger
But
mainstream.
I wanted, like, the hotter girl to be the one to get...
The hotter girl. That's
like,
terrible.
Bent over in the fucking woods or whatever, but it's fine. Well, they're both hot, but I like the girl with the wig on. She was really cute.
Oh, yeah.
And her
the pink
fucking
hair.
horrible Hello Kitty tattoo on her back. And I'm like, why do you look so familiar to me? Because I probably know her from somewhere.
Yeah, right?
She probably does porn that I've seen. So that's probably why I know her.
I don't know.
But I don't know.
See,
Anyway,
that's pretty wrong of you to judge her.
I'm not judging
based
her.
on a fucking character that she played. I'm just defending
I'm
her.
just saying, like,
You fucking
she
pig.
fucking probably
You're a
is.
fucking pig.
You know how many porn stars have Hello Kitty tattoos?
I have no idea.
Almost everyone with a Hello Kitty tattoo is a porn star.
Really? I'm never looking at the
maybe
tattoos.
just in my opinion.
Yeah, you're looking at the tattoos. I'm looking at the
Yes.
vagina and the dick usually, or just the vaginas
And the dick?
or the boobs.
I was like, where are the boobs coming?
I mean,
from?
I don't know. Whatever bits are smashing
Watching
together. I'm not really.
transsexual porn?
I'm not like, man, that's a really nice tattoo.
I
I'm
look
just
at
like blob of tattoo
I'm a
here.
fucking weirdo about that shit.
Hot
Like,
sex going on here.
I absolutely check out people's tattoos. I do that all the time though. Like whether it's just like regular in person or watching a movie or like porn.
You're like,
I don't care. I'm
you know,
like,
she's got really nice teeth.
I do that too.
I mean, I noticed that when she was just blowing that dude.
I do that.
Yeah,
I absolutely do that.
She was chowing down on that butthole like no tomorrow.
But her
I
teeth
could
were pearly ass
yeah,
white.
they were so beautiful.
Like that bitch had Invisalign. Like, good for you, honey. Like, I absolutely do shit like that. Like, I'll be like, oh, she has really pretty eyes, or ooh, her teeth are nice, or
Yeah,
ooh, those are perfect tits. Like, like watching porn with me is ridiculous. Like,
Whenever I've just forgotten who I just forget immediately after.
I watch a lot of porn. Like, it's just fun for me. So like.
She like analyzes this.
But I gotta be ready for it. So like for this, I was not necessarily prepared for the fact that this went on full on porno.
It is
was
not
like,
full on.
It was not
porno.
Skinamax porno. I'll tell you that much.
You think? Well, just because they showed a dick, I didn't see anything going
like that
anywhere.
was like it was close enough.
No,
and
it was
I can
not.
see if that's the reason why like Amazon.
It was like straight up softcore porn. If it was like
No.
it was like Skinamax, dude.
It was not like Skinamax. Like trust me, I watch a
don't
lot of
know.
Skinamax to make fun of it because it's hilarious.
Although Skinamax wouldn't show dick, so it is
they
above
will not
that.
show dick. I love Skinamax porn because
Well,
it is hilarious, and the soundtrack.
I don't even watch it anymore. And
There's so many.
do
of
they
them.
have Skinamax anymore? Like, is that a thing? I don't even know. I don't have Cinemax.
They do.
Okay.
They do. Like they have like a whole adult section on like the Showtime channel.
You know,
and
we're
the
talking
Stars
ab-
channel, and it cracks me up.
We're talking about this like they know what the fuck we're talking about, but anybody under the age of like 27 is like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Whatever. Like I watched this glorious Skinamax once, right? Where like this chick is on a Lazy Susan. You know what a Lazy Susan is?
Was she writing a book?
On a table.
Yeah, and you weren't paying attention to the sex. You were just remarking on how she had nice shoes.
She didn't have shoes on.
Oh,
Otherwise,
okay.
I would have been like, ooh, those are nice pumps.
She's staring at the quilts.
But for whatever reason, she gets put on a fucking Lazy Susan and is like spinning around, and they're playing this fucking song that's like meow, meow. It's like a techno song with meowing in it.
Okay.
And I'm like, what in the fuck is going on? Like, I don't know. This is what like Tara,
That seems boner reducing.
Tara, Mark, and Jodo and I used to just fucking watch horrible Skinamax porn together and laugh our asses off because the Techno Cat soundtracks were the fucking greatest thing in the world. And I have found that exact song on like several different Skinamax porns, and I'm like, this is my life mission.
I feel like I've opened a Pandora's box.
You have opened a Pandora's box. We need to do fucking horror porn. Because that shit's gonna be great.
I have no problem doing it. I just literally feel like we need to watch like 10, and then like
I said that. I
like,
was like, I'm fine with that.
Christina's gonna be like, "What the fuck are we watching, Alex? Like Jesus Christ!"
What the fuck are we watching?
like, come on in, your parents. No problem.
Come on in,
Have a sit right down. Grab some lube and some tissue.
Mom and Dad.
Yeah,
No,
watch
I know,
me masturbate.
I can't fucking wait. Like,
So I think to wrap it up, what would you give it a score of?
I don't know.
I mean, if you wouldn't watch it again, then it's got to be below 5.
No, I said I would. I want to get really drunk and watch it again. But I'll watch it again.
So it could be just a 5.
I will
for
give it a
you.
5. Yeah, I think a 5 is fair.
So it's a middle of the road.
I get to see a fucking dick, like an actual dick, which is great.
An actual dick.
Actual human penis that is attached to an actual human man, which is fine, and he's not gross, so that's awesome. Because typically, whenever I get to see an actual human dick attached to an actual human man, it's disgusting. So, like,
that's how I feel, girl. Preach.
Why? Like Game of Thrones, True Blood, every fucking thing in the world. It's just like, hey, here's the ugliest, fucking most unattractive man in the world, and there's his dick fucking flopping around that you can barely see over his fucking tummy flap. You're welcome, ladies.
Here,
you get to see the dick, and I'm like,
here, hold on. I'm gonna close the box.
no. So annoying. It's unfair. That's all I'm saying.
She's going.
So I'm giving them major kudos and props because I got to see an actual human man dick that wasn't disgusting. So thank you.
You're making me envision it, and I really just don't want to talk about it anymore.
Not a bad dick.
I just would like to move on.
Nope.
Let's do that.
Can't.
All right. Well, there you have it, everyone. Dicks.
Dicks. That's what our podcast is about.
So
balls and wieners.
So I think you guys should check it out. It is up on Amazon Prime, I think, right now. You can still check it out. It is a slightly cut version, which is about 8 minutes shorter than the version we watched, which I believe is on the actual Blu-ray, but that's the one that we were sent by Todd Jenkins, the director. So you know, I don't know where you can find that, but I'll try to post about it this week for you guys if you are interested. But we do have another movie that we're going to be talking about right now, and that one is going to be Beasties. Now, this is an older film, much like an 80s film, but it did come out in 1991. The story goes, slimy little aliens attack teenagers. They're horny little devils. That's actually the tagline. They're horny little devils. This was a movie that was written and directed by Stephen Paul Contreras. And this is pretty much his only thing that he's ever done. Although he is very active on his Facebook, the Beasties Facebook page. So if you guys are a fan of this movie or interested in this movie, he does have a way that you can get it. There's a copy of it on Amazon, by the way, that you can pick up, I think, for like $15. And it is definitely from him. So if you're interested and you want to see something that is I'll go into details later, but it is a film that you're never going to get the complete negative from the film ever again because of like some of the history on it. But the cast in this movie, a lot of unknown people that never really did anything in it, so I'll kind of just go over who they are, what their role is, and if they did anything, I'll explain it. If not, we'll just keep going. It stars Eric C. Bushman, who also plays Nelson Croft, which is not a nod to Lara Croft, as the game didn't come out until 1996, by the way, for any of those trying to piece those together. He hasn't done anything else other than this movie. He was the main star in the movie, though. So, also stars Denise Mora, who plays Laura. She was in the Transformer TV show, the cartoon show from 1985 and 1986, as many different voices as a voice actor on the show. Also stars James Jeffries, who is Chubbs, the best friend of Nelson. He was on the TV show At Midnight with Chris Hardwick as himself. It's a show where they basically...
I love that show.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I love Chris Hardwick.
Yeah, he was on it just as a guest, I guess. That's it. That's all he's ever done. No, not that I know of. It also stars Brenda Stube, or Stubbe, Stubbe. So Stube, maybe?
I like Stube better.
Yeah. She played Stacy. She's been in nothing else. Hector Yanez played Osiris, who was in nothing else. It also stars Eric Delabare, who was Hammerhead. He was the punk kid, leader of the punk gang, I guess. But he was writing and directing and, of course, acting for many different things, though. He's only has 2 acting credits, by the way, so this and, like, something else. But he has directed movies like Kate's Addiction, Reasonable Doubt, Venice Underground, and a TV movie called One Hogan Place. Also stars Janine Musculin, who plays Sarah. She was the badass Sarah Connor kind of character. She's been in nothing else.
I was like, there was a badass Sarah Connor character?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't remember? She was like the badass chick that wasn't scared of the Beasties.
Oh, okay.
Also stars Tony Jay, who was actually an established actor. He'd been in 172 different roles. He played Frankie. He's been in a bunch of stuff, really. Some of the more notable ones are Time Bandits as the supreme leader. He's also in Twins, My Stepmother is an Alien, Twin Peaks original series, and he was also the voice of Monsieur D'Arquet, the character in Beauty and the Beast, the cartoon. He was also in the Tick TV cartoon series, plus a ton of voice acting in games and kids shows. So, Brittany, what are your thoughts of this amazing masterpiece that I made you watch today?
I want that hour and 45 minutes of my life back. Like yesterday.
She's mad.
I'm mad. I'm real mad.
We do this for you guys,
I hate
okay?
this fucking movie. Like, nothing about it is okay. Like, I literally enjoyed nothing.
Wow.
Nothing.
It's a rough week, huh?
Yes. Like, so, like, in comparison, like, Cherokee Creek is a fucking goddamn masterpiece compared to this movie.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I didn't like it at all. I was super bored. It was very difficult for me to actually get through it. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, and I had to watch it in sections, like, specifically because I was like, I can't do this.
Okay. Well, why do you not like it?
I don't understand the story.
Okay.
Like, to me, like, that's the biggest thing is I don't understand what the fuck is happening, and I feel like it's jumping from too many different situations back and forth. Like, so we're dealing with beasties, but now we got to deal with these fucking punk kids that have some kind of god that they're trying to sacrifice somebody to for whatever fucking reason. And then there's these other kids that are part of this somehow, and I don't know how they fit into anything, but then they all come together. I don't get it.
Okay.
It's too convoluted of a storyline, and there's no, like...
The acting's not really strong for you to want to pay attention.
Awful.
Yeah.
And there's no satisfactory, like, reasoning behind anything that any of these people do, and there's no fucking ending.
Okay.
It's just done. There's no satisfaction behind any single thing that happens in this movie. Like, nothing. I don't get it. The creatures are stupid. Like,
I thought they were kind of cool.
They're like, at the end they get kind of cool.
Okay.
But like prior to that, I'm just like, every time one of them will come on screen, well, duh, like, it just looks so fucking dumb. Like, I don't get it. Like, it would not scare me if it's coming at me. I'd just be like, oh, it's special. Like, I want to cuddle it.
Well, this feels like a movie
it's broken. Like, someone fix it.
This might be one of those movies where everybody got their start from, kind of thing. Well, not everyone, clearly, but these two got, maybe, I don't know. But yeah.
I feel like this is the kind of movie that just, like, keeps you from having a career, which is why most of these people haven't gone on to do nothing.
Right here on the cover, I have the cover here right in front of me. It says, worst movie ever made? ?
Yeah, up there.
I don't know, man. After watching like some of the Howling movies, I don't think this one is as bad as you think.
It's still terrible.
I don't know, man.
It's not good, bro.
I don't know, man.
Not good. Like, I literally have no redeeming qualities of this movie at all. Like,
I will defend it because I don't know. For one, just to give you guys kind of a background on how we got this movie, for why we decided to watch it. It's been in my Amazon wish list for like ever, just because I was like looking for weird, like never been heard of movies to watch, because I like finding those one kind of gems that like everybody shuns and forgets about, or it got lost somehow, and shit, memes die fast. Like, why wouldn't fucking movies? You know what I mean? So I had this in my wish list, and one of my viewers on the Twitch stream that I do, if you guys ever want to come, it's Deacon Rain, Reighn. He gave it to me, Patrick Lemke, and he sent it to me on my wish list, and I was like, fuck yeah, dude, I'll fucking review this. So I was like, I'll figure out a way to incorporate this, because if you guys remember, we originally were going to do Beasties and Night of the Chihuahua.
That's right.
And I couldn't find a copy of it, nor was I too thrilled to find one, to be honest, because like everything that I saw looked like some dude just made it, which is kind of appealing in some way. This movie, The Beasties, by the way, is your typical amateur shot on video movie, that some amateur guy just wanted to make a film.
Yeah.
And shot it himself and didn't know. I don't think they knew too much about film, but they seem to have kind of a grip, so maybe I'm wrong. But typically, these sort of films, I would say, try to add everything and the kitchen sink. And I think that's where this convoluted story that you're talking about is getting lost a little bit. Because you dream big, man. Mm-hmm. You dream big. You don't think about budgets and all this other shit. But they had a really tiny budget for this, I've heard. And I'll get into more of that on the trivia. But I think I think mostly why people do that is because when you want to create something, you go all out in your mind and you shoot for the moon, and then somehow they actually kind of pulled it off in some way. For me, it's not a great movie or even a good movie, but I respect it for the sake, I guess, of creativity, I guess, that somebody actually went out there and did something. I'm not sure I don't know if it was cheap or not, but they may have gotten a lot of favors pulled for it because some of the puppets and stuff like that, getting molds of that, of like creatures and stuff, that couldn't have been that cheap. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just a copy that I have because the original, something happened to it, and I'll explain that more in the trivia, but they definitely spent some money on it. I don't think it's that cheap to do some of the stuff that they tried to do in this because they had full-on sets that they designed up, which I thought, A for effort there, 100%. More money anyway than an amateur usually has access to anyway. That's what I was thinking. But some say that it is the worst movie ever made, and to me, I don't think it is. I kind of feel like it's more so bad it's good in a way. Or it is kind of so bad it's bad. But after watching seriously some of the worst films in that Howling, holy shit, dude, this movie is not that bad to me.
That was life altering.
It is definitely debatable whether or not this is the worst movie. I don't think it is, but I'd rather see this crappy acting and shitty creatures than a boring movie any day. If it doesn't even have any attempt at it. And what was it, Howling 7 that we watched? Pretty sure it was Howling 7, the one where they were at the bar and everything. They didn't even show any like creatures until the very end, and it was not even that good. So I don't know. There's something to say about that, I think, for me anyway. I enjoyed the huge story that is all over the fucking place in a way, but I also had to like go back and like rewatch parts and like really focus because I was like, wait a second, like what the fuck is happening right now? So, I mean, the execs in the movie studios wouldn't even touch a story like this with all their money at all because it's too much. I think it had some pretty interesting twists and turns in there that made it kind of unique. It's essentially a small town where nerds, college kids, sexism, bad humor, punks, Satanists, and creatures coexist. I mean, that right there alone should tell you there's a lot going on in this movie. So not only that, though, there are, basically space creatures until you find out what they are that feed on humans. So, adds an extra thing to it. The puppets I thought were kind of decent, but definitely did not move around well, except for that last one that you were talking about. I think that one was cool. Like, because it has animatronics and shit in it.
It looks like I got a ball sack for a head. Right.
I mean, it's silly looking, but we'll talk more about that later. Supposedly, this is the creator of the Creepazoids, too, by the way, which is I think it's a full moon or a troma, I can't remember, which I'm assuming they're talking about one of the executive producers, David DeCocto, who directed Creepazoids, and he's uncredited in this movie for some reason. I don't know why. He's known for doing Puppet Master 3. Otherwise, I don't know how anyone is associated to anything because most people don't have any credits other than he and the special effects guys who worked on this. So the guys that did the visual effects on the movie, like the 90s, straight up 90s visual effects, early 90s too. So it's a little hard to figure out who did the creatures, to be honest. Like I couldn't figure it out. I was like really doing some research on that, but I did reach out to the director, or not the director, but somebody, I don't know who it was, who runs the Facebook page. I didn't get back to me. So anyways, I honestly don't think it's that bad of a little shot on video sci-fi creature schlock fest. I've seen a lot worse in this category, to be honest. And I've spent far more time on way worse movies, and I've had a lot worse time than I did watching this movie. It is going to be hard for the general person to watch this. Like, this is superior cheese. You know what I mean? Like, in a way. Like, there's a fine layer of each layer of cheese in superior shit movies. And for those people, this is probably that kind of film for them. So I did get a few laughs in it, and I like it specifically because of the spirit of creation, like I mentioned. So, getting out there and doing something that, let's be honest, most people don't even have the courage or passion to do or try.
Right.
Most people, like, literally I've found who they just think things will happen for them, even if they don't do anything. Like, someone's going to reach out and be like, you know what? You're a smart guy. Let's make a movie. Not going to happen, everybody, just to let you know. It's not going to happen. You're going to put yourself out there and give your life and soul and... Sorry. Okay. So anyway, I'd probably say, you know, it's for those few that can appreciate those kind of fucking shitty movies. If you don't have the stomach for, hey, I made this film on no budget myself films, I'd stay clear of it. If you got some pizza, some friends, and some drinks, have at it. You know, have a fun time making fun of it if you want. I'd give it probably a 5 out of 10 for one of those shot on video films. I've seen better and I've seen a lot worse. So I think it's creative. I think they swung for the fences and did a lot more than most people could pay attention to for this kind of film. Had way too many characters for such a small fucking film, but somehow they pulled it off in some weird way, and I appreciate it for that reason. So I think, you know, you can't compare this film to anything else but shot on film, by the way, like, you know, direct it yourself kind of films. So it's its own beast, or in this case, Beasties. Sorry, I had to get into depth about that because I feel like nobody ever really gives these kind of movies that kind of fucking attention. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that this is going to win awards anywhere. Like, it probably is one of the worst films ever made, like, in, like, however many there are, but I don't think it's, like, the bottom. So, I know you hated it, but I'm glad you watched it, Brittany. I just want you to know.
Yeah.
So, what would we give the score of for
2.
this? You give it a 2 out of 10 for even just for shot on video?
Yep.
Of all the movies you've seen shot on video.
It's getting a 2.
Okay. Well, I'd give it a 5. So
There we go.
It's because I'm not a hater.
I just nope. 2.
So really, you hated this like a lot more than
I did not like it.
So you liked The Howling 7 more than this? Would you say that?
No. What did I give The Howling 7?
I think it was like a
2.
Like a 2, yeah.
Oh, well then I'll give this one a 3 because I like this better than The Howling 7.
Okay. I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but whatever I said about The Howling 7,
This is better.
This is better.
Okay.
I hate that movie too. Like, fuck. Like, I would rather, if I had to watch either of these fucking movies again, like, gun to my fucking head, I would consider dying. But I would
would not.
I would pick this one.
All right.
To watch.
Well, some of the trivia that I found on this is a movie that apparently was shot in 1989. They started on it. It had a tiny, tiny budget to work with, and there was no digital editing back then, or 3D animation for, you know...
That's fun.
The consumer grade, you know, back in those days. And I'm paraphrasing from some of the stuff that I read on the Facebook page for the Beasties. So if you guys want to add that, you can. He said, it would have made my job so much easier and less expensive, but we worked with what we had. It was shot in Fresno and Oakhurst area.
Yeah. Really?
He said, I believe Beasties is so bad that it's good. If you like cheesy, dumb sci-fi horror flicks that made Beasties bite you on the leg, the movie is considered rare and hard to find by collectors. He said he recently found a VHS copy from the original release on sale on eBay for over $100. LOL. You can get a DVD copy at the Amazon store that he talked about, and we'll include that link too. So he said, look out, Plan 9 from Outer Space. Is Beasties the worst movie ever made, or is it so bad that it's good? If you think you've seen the worst movie ever made, think again. This rare, hard-to-find movie originally released nationwide in 1991 under the title Beasties by Cinema Home Video, headed by Dave DeCocto, known for Creepazoids, Sorority Babes in Slimeball, Rama, and many other B-movies from the 80s. He also directed some of the Puppet Master movies, blah, blah, blah. Beasties was one of the only few Super 8 films to ever receive a national distribution deal by an independent Hollywood distributor. So, they were originally going to call this movie Bionaut because they mention it in the movie.
They do, like, several times.
Yeah, and we'll explain that later because they have like a flesh craft that they call a bio. They're like, I was a bionaut, but they changed it to Beasties when it was released. So there were only 200 copies ever sold, being pulled from distribution because of a changing market for small, low-budget films. And it was shot basically on a shoestring budget on Super 8. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like actually on Super 8?
Yeah. That's like the first film that was ever
That's pretty
to
cool.
receive national distribution from a distributor that way. So, but, you know, for a shoestring budget, I personally think it's good. That's why I think it's okay. You know, it's not like good.
Yeah, I see
It's-
what you're saying.
You see what I mean? Like, for what they did, it's impressive.
Right.
For what they did on the budget that they had. That's the gist that I get.
Fair.
But the master tape for this movie was destroyed in a fire like a decade ago, apparently. And they salvaged from one of the few remaining VHS copies. So it was re-released on DVD by the director, producer, Stephen P. Contreras, and was edited down to less than 90 minutes in the original release. So this version, the one that I got and the one that's on Amazon, is directly from the director, and it has the first 20 minutes not seen in the original released version that's now available. So you can get that if you want for $15. It's not rated 2, by the way, guys. So if you guys there is some boobs in it and stuff like that. I don't think it was that bad. It reminded me of like a fucking Meatballs movie, right?
Oh, there was boobs in it.
Yeah.
For like a hot second.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, it's.
She had a long ass, too. I remember that. Sorry.
No, you're good. No.
Like, now I remember. She had a
There's a
long
lot
ass.
of male humor in this. Like it's definitely in the vein of that
Yeah, another
that
one.
sleazy dude stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I say sleazy beasties. You know what I mean? So I feel like in a way these kind of match perfectly because the whole first 30-40 minutes of this movie is all sleazy, like sleazy jokes and shit like that. Did you notice?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the trivia there, guys. But for those of you who are willing to go to the depths of hell with us, we're going to kind of break down the movie and talk about the movie in our spoilers section pretty much now. So if you are a masochist and enjoy this kind of us making fun of the movie in a way and also kind of laughing with it, you want to stick around. But if not, and you haven't seen the movie yet and you can't be spoiled, then you might want to get the fuck out, okay? But you're missing out, so fuck you.
So fuck you. Basically.
So
Go fuck yourself.
to break it down for you guys in like the most like cohesive way, the whole movie kind of starts out and there's like people fucking in cars like at a lookout point or something. Is that what it was? I think it was.
Probably.
I couldn't really tell. They're always going into the woods and getting attacked by creatures. Like, there's so many characters in this movie. It is really hard to, white people
too
all
many.
look the same.
We do.
Like, I mean, to be honest with
We
you.
do all look the same.
Well, especially when you're in a movie where you don't really, like, establish your characters that well, and everybody kind of looks the same anyway.
We do all look the same.
I'm just saying, like...
It's fucking true. That's why we do things like color our hair and pierce our faces.
Right, we gotta stick out,
Get
man.
tattoos to fucking be different.
Yeah, we don't want to be like the other white guys or white girls.
No, we're not pork. I want to be the other white
It might be
meat.
debatable for me, but I'm made of mostly pork. But so after a couple are fucking in the car or something, they hear a noise, they hear a spaceship or something land or some noise, they think it's a spaceship and they see it off in the distance. Though they never show it until the very end, by the way. So you just kind of assume what they're seeing. So it's a little confusing. In the very beginning, there's Nelson and Chubbs having a conversation, and Chubbs is like trying to convince him to go to a party, to go on this date or something like that with some girl with him because he wants to get laid and he doesn't want to, she won't go with him alone or something like that. So he tries to invite his buddy Nelson, who, by the way, is a student working on DNA with pen and paper, of course. Easy peasy. But he's like, Chubbs is all like, sometimes I wonder if you have any hair on your balls. And he was like, well, you're in the gym class with me, right?
I know.
Like, what?
I was like, okay.
I'm not looking at your fucking pubes, dog.
We were in gym class with you, right? So that means you stare at my dick.
Well, and I guess that's the humor of this movie, is that it feels like it's, I don't know, stiff humor. Like, I don't know, not great humor. But there's some, like, inadvertent funny things that happen in this that I kind of laughed at. Then they fast forward, they're going on this date, Nelson and Chubbs, I guess. And they have two doofy high school kids outside the food place. And he's like, did you see the size of those knockers on that one? When she ran, they all bounced all over the place. And then they bump into Hammerhead, who's this like leader of the punk order of thieves or whatever the fuck he is.
He doesn't even look like a punk kid. He looks like a goth reject.
I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of they look kind of cool. Like, I mean, to be honest,
like a very like 80s.
Nobody dresses like that anymore. That's for sure.
Like,
it's leather jackets and chains all over the fucking place. And they got this other chick who looks like a fucking Joan Jett kind of reject a little bit, but she was kind of hot too.
Joan
like,
Jett reject.
She was like vamp. Well, not that Joan Jett isn't hot. She's like pretty attractive for her age, especially. But they start to bully these kids, you know. One of them looks like one of the punks that's with him. He's like the gothopotamus, and he's like, I don't know what I'm saying.
No, it's perfect.
He looks like Booger from Revenge of the Nerds, kind of, and he has the mentality of that same character. As he squashes a burger in his hands, and he's like, "Rrr." And then they all talking about stomp assing. They're like, yeah, man, we're gonna stomp ass. We're gonna start with you, stomp ass. He's like, yeah.
Yeah. Stupid.
It's pretty bad. By the way, guys, we just took a small break because I was having a coughing fit and almost died. I inhaled some of my phlegm.
It was gross, guys.
I'm still choking on it, so you might hear me cough a little bit. Anyway, so back to the podcast. That's what we're doing. Okay. Meanwhile, so there's the two college nerds from the very beginning, and they're like talking about their ball hair when they pull up to the food place at the same place where these two doofy kids are getting picked on by the fucking punks. Talking about women's buns too. Like he was like, oh, I'd like to get between them buns. Something like one of them's like, excuse me, I need to squeeze the cheese. I think it was Chubbs.
He's the only one making those comments, yeah.
Yeah, and Nelson's like, I'm gonna need to get. He tells Nelson, he's like, I'm gonna need to get some help, you know, because my hands aren't big enough. It's like, oh my god, dude. Stupid. So he goes to help him? Like, what? Like, I don't know what that was all. It was just like,
because he wants to talk to him. Because the girl was like, they haven't said anything this entire time. It's supposed to be a double date or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Talk to him or whatever. And then, like, that's
right.
his excuse to get him out of the car. And I'm like, that would not make me get out of the car to go with you, but okay.
That's right, because they go in there and they talk about the girls, and he's like, she's kind of young, don't you think?
Yeah, because she's like 15.
Yeah, and he's like, she's of age. I don't know what you're talking about. And you find out that she was lying, remember?
Yeah.
Anyway, then the punks come in the bathroom to fuck with them, and they're like talking about cutting his dick off. They're like, in other countries, when you steal, they cut off your hands. When you run from the army instead of fighting for the army of your country, they cut off your feet. So you piss behind my van, so I'm gonna cut your dick off.
That's what you do. I mean, like, that's like the standard of all standards, right? Like,
yeah, it's kind of silly.
I'm just going to cut your dick off. It's fine.
But they go back to the van and they have like a fight with some college jocks apparently because they're there. And like the college jocks were there like getting food too, I guess, because it's, you know, it's like the whole, you know, where all the kids hang out back in the 50s, but this is a 90s movie.
This is what you do.
Yeah.
Again.
You know what I mean? There's like that movie, what is it called? Graffiti, I think it is. It's kind of like this anyway. The weird thing about this fight, too, is that they had, like, this fight for, like, 2 seconds. He's like, looks like you guys are outnumbered, Hammerhead. And then you just see, like, him jump at him or punch somebody. And that's it.
Yeah.
And then it's over, and they switch to the next scene.
I'm like, that's okay. That's done. Like, we're not going to do anything else.
Yeah.
It's all in the sound effects. So bad.
Yeah, it was kind of bad there. But you know, those are like, you know, the early amateur woes of like creating a film, I would assume, right?
Right.
Anyway, they get invited to a party by the jocks where apparently college girls put out because, you know, they're educated in ways about sex. That's what they say. She kind of cracked me up. I was like, oh, the 80s, you know, like this is totally 80s. I think it was Chubbs was like, hey, Nelson, you ever seen sumo wrestling match? You're about to see one live in the parking lot because, dude, Chubbs' girlfriend bought him a single burger instead of a double. So he's pissed off. And he's like, I see why you got me a single because you're mad I was looking at those fucking girls. And she's like, no.
You
I
fat
didn't know.
fuck.
Yeah. She's like, let's just go in. And he's like, have you ever seen a sumo wrestling match? Because you're about to see one live, Nelson. Like, oh my God, dude. Just fucking shoot me right there.
Yeah.
But Nelson's talking to the girl in the back of the car, the one that's like too young to be on a date with a guy who's a junior in college. And she's still in high school. And she confesses that she's only 16 years old.
She's 15. She's about to be 16.
Was that what she said?
Pretty sure.
I thought she said
going
16.
To be 16.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think she was 16.
But she says, I hope that's okay with you being a junior and all. Is that cool? And he's like, I was like, no, don't do it.
Run away.
Get out, man. But, you know, the times have changed a lot. And, like, have you ever seen, what's that movie? The one that takes place in the 70s?
Graduate?
Dazed and Confused?
Oh, I was like The Graduate. Wasn't that a thing, too?
No. Like, in Dazed and Confused, they kind of traipse that line, too, because the one kid's like, is he freshman or something like that?
They're all freshmen.
Yeah.
For the most part, yeah. And seniors.
And then, like, some of them, he's, like, trying to hook up with, like, the seniors or something. I don't know. But anyway, that was kind of a thing that they... You know, back in the day, it wasn't a big deal. Like, a lot of people did it. They just didn't talk about it a lot. Then, like, some parents didn't like it and some did. They were fine with it. But nowadays, yeah, you're a rapist, pretty much. So it's kind of weird dichotomy there that you're looking at when you watch this film. But they talk about how Nelson is afraid of love. And she puts her hand on his. She was like, you don't have to be, you know? It's like, oh, God. Like, what the fuck? Like, he's just so misunderstood.
Yeah.
You know, he's a 21-year-old
nerd
trying to hit on a 15-year-old.
Yeah. Gross.
But anyway, they go back to the couple necking in the car because I guess like I thought they died in the beginning of the movie, but then they go back to them or another group. I'm not 100% sure.
Too many characters in this fucking movie. I can't keep track of any of them, to be honest. So.
I don't really understand it either. It's a little hard to follow, but the punks go back to their leader, Osiris, and who wears a Skeletor helmet and wants to talk to Satan a lot, I guess. Is that what it was?
I don't know.
He's very serious, by the way, and he sounds like he has like an Asian accent, sort of like a stereotypical one, you know. But, like, he's talking about Satan, and he wants the punk kids to stop this boy who's the chosen one, essentially, who can stop all of the evil and can't be touched. So he needs to hire the punk kids to go out and kill him because he can't lay his hands on him because he's too evil and the kid is too pure. And the pure kid, by the way, is Nelson Croft. It's like, fuck. So Nelson and the gang, they stumble upon the slimy, fleshy, it's like a living flesh hole, which they say they could be walking into a mouth. She's like, oh my God, we could be walking into a mouth. I guess like Pinocchio or whatever. Pinocchio. But they push on anyway. She's like, maybe we should leave because we might be in a mouth. And he's like, no, it's cool. Because he deduces that the ship is asexual in nature. It's like, what? How would you even know if a ship, first of all, is sexual at all?
He's a scientist.
Of course, because that's what scientists do.
Junior in college. He knows everything.
He's smart as fuck, dude. But then he like touches like a fleshy bit on the wall or something like that. And he's like, we should take this back, a sample back. And he grabs like an egg, I guess one of the Beasties or something. Is that what it was?
I think so.
Anyway, he goes back to go do research on it, and I guess they get lost somewhere in the woods or something at that point in time. So one of the Beasties follows a girl into the shower, and she's like scrubbing down completely nude. This is the nude scene, by the way. And he's like watching carefully and all greasy, like dripping grease off his face. It looks like kind of like a Freddy Krueger like reject idea, like his face does. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you know when they show, like, I think it was the Dream Master, where they had, like, a baby Freddy, where his face was all, like, he was just tiny? Kind of looked like that to me for some reason. I don't know why. But I thought it was kind of cool. I didn't think it... You thought it was that bad? You thought the creatures were that bad? I thought they were interesting.
A little bit. I don't know. Like, the ones towards the end I felt were more interesting than the other ones.
Okay.
I just felt they were kind of derpy.
Okay. Well, she doesn't even freak out, by the way, when she finally sees this. And she pulls a Britney pretty much and just like kicks.
I know. I was like, hell yeah, girl, kick it.
I know, right?
Fucking kick it.
She throws a towel over it, kicks it in the fucking head into another room, and then it like she like shuts the door behind her, and it tries to get in, and then she had like mad composure though, you know, like.
Yeah, she pulled a me.
She didn't even freak out. She just immediately, without skipping a beat, just
like a bug.
There you go.
Fuck it. Nope.
Done.
Handled.
But she did grab a gun, you know, just in case, because she's smart. She loads it, opens the door, and then, like, searches around for it. And I got to give her credit here. I'm not sure I'd be looking around for that shit, you know what I mean, in that situation.
Nope.
Especially with a fucking long barrel shotgun. Like, maybe a handgun, but not a long barrel shotgun.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's more of, like, a bottleneck kind of weapon, you know, where you're, like, kind of know where something's coming from, you know, from a mid-range distance. But anyway, the beastie jumps on her neck, and then she like drops the gun, and she like stabs it in the head like 10 times. I don't know, it was a bunch, right? And then it scurries away and out the door. Like, I don't know how it opened the door either. It just like ran into it and then opened it.
Clap on.
He couldn't reach the fucking doorknob, so how the fuck did he get out, you know?
Maybe it's a saloon door.
Yeah, maybe. Well, it was like she lives in a like trailer or something, right? Because it was like kind of up. Because like that's when Laura and Nelson.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, Laura and Nelson show up at her house accidentally because they get lost in the woods after finding the flesh craft is what I'm calling it.
It's a good name.
Fleshlight, yeah, flesh craft. But they don't know each other, so they just show up and Nelson searches around for it because she tells them that there was a creature and like she's getting attacked, and he's like, well, I deduce it appears to be some sort of slime, some sort of waste. And it's like, wow, you're so sciencey, dude. Like, it's pretty bad, dude.
Shut up, homie.
Right?
No one gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck, dude.
Right? He's like, and of course he pulls out the egg to analyze it, and he deduces it's an alien life form.
Deducing.
Yeah, wow. It took him
There's a lot of deducing.
Yeah, he deduced that this movie is terrible.
I deduced that within like 20 seconds.
But I don't know. I think it's kind of funny because like he like figured out that the spaceship, it was a spaceship made of flesh in like seconds. But then it took him like carrying the egg somewhere and then like going somewhere to find out that it's an alien egg. It's like, what the fuck? So... And another group in a car have one in the back of their truck while they're driving away, and they scream, and they're like, hey, just get the hell out of here, and they just stop the truck and run. Remember the one that was in the back of the bed?
I mean, I guess I get that logic.
I don't know. I don't know.
I would have just sped off really fast.
Like, if it broke through the window, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
I certainly would have, like, swerved a little bit to knock it down and then, like...
speed up and swerve around or something.
Something. Grab my shotgun out and popped it in the face out the fucking window or something.
Just kick it.
Of course, the other kids, the big guy, the Chubbs and his girlfriend and friends now need to get the help of the sheriff. Of course, because all this bad, they realize something bad is happening, and he doesn't believe them that they saw like a spaceship or pretty much anything, and he threatens them. I think he said like public intoxicants. Is that what he said or something like that? So the kids leave, of course, but that's the typical stereotype or trope, I guess. You know, of a horror movie is like the sheriff never believes them. Anybody that's in charge doesn't believe you. Right. That's like the Blob did that. Everything. So. But Nelson finally figures out how that they grow their machines, and that's why this spaceship cave or the flesh craft was actually a flesh ship. You know what I mean? So they went into an alien fleshlight that flies pretty much. And then almost kiss at that point, by the way, while they're with the badass chick who like stabbed the thing in the head. They're all at their place or whatever. And she's like, all right, enough of this fucking lovey-dovey shit. We gotta fucking take care of business. There's fucking creatures everywhere. And then they fast forward to like the doofy kids, the two that were like outside the burger place in the beginning, and they stumble upon a car with the kids who were making out earlier, and I guess one of the bodies topple out of the vehicle, and the face is like melted off by one of the creatures, so they like run off. But the badass chick and another place, and this is how many times we're like switching between characters. There's too many characters. Like This is like, have you ever seen the movie It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World or Rat Race or anything like that? It's like that many characters. Like, that's what it feels like. And that's like not an easy task to juggle. But back at the chick's house with the shower and she stabbed the beastie, they're devising a plan to save Frankie. And of course, the 16-year-old or 15-year-old chick, Laura, tells Nelson that she loves him. Mm-hmm. And the badass chick is also impressed that Nelson would stick his neck out for the Frankie guy. They're like, that's so nice that you would do that. And the 16-year-old's like, I told you, he's a special kind of guy. She's like said this like 9 times in the fucking movie. He's a special kind of guy. I don't know. I guess they were trying to show the love, I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
On-screen love.
They had zero chemistry, so I guess maybe that's why they had
Other than just her hanging on to him every 5 seconds.
Right.
I don't know. I thought it was like kind of ridiculous. It just kind of got annoying a little bit at that point.
Yeah, it really did.
But they get in the car and the beasties attack the windows, and the badass chick, Sarah, she like punches them in the face, and then like they drive off, which I thought was kind of cool. But the doofy high schooler kids that saw the dead body that fall out of the car and the face was melted and everything, they see they're like picked up by a random on the side of the road as they're driving, and one of the punk chicks, after they pick up these doofy kids, is like flashes the fucking random driver, and he pulls over. He's like, can I give you a lift? That's what she said. She's like, well, maybe you can give me a lift, or I can give you a lift or something. I don't know what the fuck she said.
Probably something like that.
But then they like hijack the fucking car. Like, she takes it over, and like the doofy kids and everybody have to leave, and they're like talking about stomp-assing again. And then Nelson, Laura, and Sarah, the badass chick, drive up at the same time, and they get hijacked too. And they're like roughing him up and punching Nelson a bunch. And the badass chick pulls out a fucking shotgun and pumps one of the fucking punk kids in the face, and it's like, pop! And they don't even give a fuck. Did you notice that? They're just like, let's go on with our day.
It's cool. Fuck Larry.
They just kick his head like, fuck you. But anyway, they drive off, and they pull out the Sarah chick, the badass chick, and take her. They put everybody else in a cage. They put, I think it's only like 3 of them, right? They take Nelson and Nelson, Laura, and Sarah, and they all put them in the cage except for Sarah, who he tries to make. The hammerhead leader of the punks tries to make his new girlfriend. And so they have this like bar scene where they're like sitting down drinking together, and he's like trying to tell her how badass she is, and like it's like, what the fuck, dude. And they have like this lair. I don't know where the fuck this club was, but it was like all chick band, like a goth punk rock band, right?
I think so, yeah.
It was like all chicks like in the band playing, and it was like really slow gothy punk rock. But he's like, he tells her the entire story of how he met Osiris, and he tells him that he's scared of him because Osiris has this power to control people's minds. And she's like, you don't really believe that, do you? And he was like, no, he really does, and there's nothing I can do about it. And in a way, they kind of like, it almost feels like they're like going to team up to like beat Osiris or something like that at that moment. Meanwhile, you see his ex-girlfriend, or Vamp, the one that flashed the dudes. She's like staring her down and devising a plan to take Hammerhead down for ditching her so quickly with this other chick named Medusa. Of course, her name's Medusa, right? Mm-hmm. So she lets Nelson and Laura free from the cage because she wants to fuck up his plan or whatever to get back at fucking Hammerhead. And so then she like lets him out, but then wants to kill the Sarah chick, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what happened there. Do you?
I just know that they wanted to kill her. Or she wanted to, or I don't know if it was like a sacrifice thing or what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Yeah, because like he tries to force himself, Hammerhead tries to force himself on Sarah, and she kicks him in the nuts, and then she bumps into Vamp running away from him. And she's like saying, you ain't taking my man, bitch, you know?
Basically, yeah.
And then Nelson and Laura are like, you let her go, like 3 times, like demanding it like some idiot. And he's like holding up his fist like some fucking piece of shit. Like She's like 2 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
Like, Medusa and her friend, like, threatens Nelson, and he's, like, balling up his fist, and Medusa just knocks him the fuck out. And, like, I don't remember what happens to fucking Laura or whatever, but they take Sarah, right?
They take both of them.
Oh, that's right. That's what happens. Vamp goes to see Osiris with Sarah, the badass chick, or I think it was like an offer Sarah as a sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
But then this weird fucking thing happens, guys. Like, I don't even understand this part. So she goes, I brought you a sacrifice. And then he looks over to his left to this chick called Emerald and his throne candy. Because he's got a full-on fucking satanic throne that he sits on. And they, like, have his 2 chicks, like he's fucking Boba, or what's his name? Fucking Jabba the Hutt. Yeah, like, all laying next to his side or whatever. And then he's, like, hands the knife to... that's what it is. He calls out to Medusa. He's like, who's the strongest leader of the clan of women or whatever? And Medusa emerges, and then he hands Emerald this dagger to fucking fight. And they have this really stupid fight.
It would, like, turn into, like, female version, like, Glow.
Like wrestling, yeah.
Glow.
Yeah.
It was Glow.
It was totally... It was kind of like
Slaves of Wrestling.
Silly.
But
It was
not as
sillier
cool.
than that, yeah.
Because Glow was awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, they probably fight better in that than they did in this scene. but all the punks are screaming, kill her, kill her, kill her. And the 2 wrestle, I guess, with, like, a bunch of knives. Medusa, like, slices Emerald's hand off and then goes up to Osiris and slices her own throat. And I think he cuts her head off, but they didn't show it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because they make the noise.
She slit that chick's throat, and then the girl goes up there and killed herself anyway. And I'm like, what's the point?
That's right. Yeah, she cuts her hand off. She cuts Emerald's hand off, then cuts her throat, and then Medusa goes up and cuts her own throat as a sacrifice to him, which unlocks his new ability to be a satanic power or something like that. And he drinks her blood out of a demon skull. It's like really bad demon skull, dude. And he starts like moaning, and I guess he sort of transforms into some sort of like decrepit
Old person.
Yeah, it kind of, you know what it looked like? It looked like a Army of Darkness.
Yeah,
like the guy
me of Beetlejuice too.
Sally Forth. You know that guy. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so, yeah.
The main villain in Army of Darkness.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, Osiris is apparently now the son of the feared one, aka Satan, I guess.
Someone.
They didn't say Satan ever.
Someone we're scared of, I guess.
I'm not sure, but probably. He calls Nelson his future arch nemesis. I'm like, really? I was like, man, this is going to be easy for you, dude. And Osiris gloats and says he has a hand of innocence, that only a hand of innocence can kill Nelson because he's so good, not evil. So he uses his mind eye powers on Laura, the 15-year-old, 16-year-old date of Nelson, and tries to convince her to kill him with the sacrificial dagger, and but she can't because, you know, love.
She loves him.
Yeah. And I'm sorry to say, but 15 and 16-year-olds don't know what love is.
No.
Not that kind of love. Like, they know family love. That I can understand.
How about just, I don't want to murder someone.
Yeah.
But murdering is bad.
But yeah, but he's like a vampire. He was like, has powers to make them do things that they don't want to do, you know? Meanwhile, the Doof kids and other people had been picked up by some girls, and they head to the college jock party, and they hear that Nelson's not there, and then they like meet up with Hammerhead and have another shitty fight. It's like a really shitty fight, but it's a bigger fight than all the fights we've seen so far. Booger jumps in, and like now it's an all-out brawl with like jump kicks.
Parkour.
Yeah, he was like doing some high kicks or something. I don't know what the fuck it was. But Nelson even punches a chick. Like, what the fuck? He like straight up fucking like whams her right in the face. And then the big dude, like, friend roots them on. He's like, yeah, Nelson, go. Like, oh yeah, you beat it. You punched a chick in the face. Granted, she was probably tougher than he was, so
Sure.
I'll give him that. But I'm not saying women can't fight, by the way. I don't know. I thought it was really funny. But the normie people win. The college jocks beat the punks. And I guess Nelson and Laura talk to Sarah for a minute, and he's like, you stay here, Sarah. You're like the one that's able to kill people and fight people, but I'm going to go off and save the world right now with my 15-year-old girlfriend. Like, what? No, that would not happen. So he like goes to the spaceship, right? Isn't that what happens?
I think so, yeah.
They enter the like flesh craft again or whatever, and then like they see a beastie that has like it's like a brain beastie pops out, and it looks like it's smiling, like it's like
It's like a fucking ridiculous ass Muppet with the balls on his head.
I'll have to get a picture of that. It's pretty funny.
So bad.
Maybe we'll make it the cover or something. I don't know. It's pretty funny.
I was like, oh god.
But it's got like weird little tentacle things on its arm, and it's like the mechanics. It's always like smiling, and all you hear is like greasy noises the whole fucking time. Yeah, that's pretty funny. It's like, I don't know. It's so cute. I don't know.
It is cute.
But
it's
Nelson,
weird looking. It's not scary.
this is where the story gets really fucking crazy, okay? Because like this is where they kind of like explain what the fuck is everything, like why everything is happening. So Nelson tries to communicate it with it, and doing so, it starts to moan weirdly, and then it has this weird mouth chigger, like, you know the chigger bugs that have the little pincers on the front or whatever?
Yeah.
And it like has this thing, it sticks it out of its mouth and then like puts it on the side of his head, and then he drops to the ground and like passes out because it like like has this really bad video effects where it like turns his face like red static or something. Is that what it was?
I think so.
Trying to like say that he transferred some sort of like, I don't know what.
Something. Yeah.
So I think what it was is they were trying to do Back to the Future. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like when in the second movie when they touch, he's like, don't touch her, and then they both pass out.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Because, and this is the fucked up part, Nelson recovers saying that they're not from space, but they've been from Earth this whole time, and that they were once men, or mankind. And in fact, not just man, but himself from the future. The weird, smiley brain bug is actually himself from the future. And they traveled back in time to take over the world, I guess. And he says that after he gets his job, like in the future, he marries the 15-year-old girl. And he's like working on something, and they find a deadly virus, and it kills off a bunch of people. And in an attempt to try to save mankind because he's such a good guy, he fucking does this test on himself to fight the fucking virus. And in doing so, turns him and everybody into fucking creatures that don't communicate and want to devour people in the future, and actually make flesh crafts that travel in time.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is, it's kind of interesting, but that was like the most interesting part of the whole movie. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of interesting to see like a flesh craft. Like that time travels. It's not even from space.
Giant flying vagina.
That sucks brain nerds. I don't fucking know. But he calls himself a bionaut. He's like, I've become a bionaut or something like that. And the weird future brain Beastie Nelson starts moaning. And it's like dying, he says. And that he's like, but he's dying. And that means that he can't control the creatures at long distances, only short distances, because science. And he knows this shit. But they leave the fleshcraft and they run into Sarah and the punks who are threatening her life, as the like kind of like the beasties are like surrounding them out in the forest, which is kind of a cool scene because you get to see like, I think it was like 4 creatures.
Different ones. It was all different ones.
I mean, they moved like shit.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of interesting, and they start feeding on Booger as he screams. They like bite his face off. And then another punk runs, but it's surrounded and fed on. And then Hammerhead faces off a bunch and is like, let's thrash, motherfuckers! Let's thrash! So 80s right there. But
is.
He
He's
dies.
like a living street shark.
I mean, I gotta admit, like, the punks were kind of cool, in my opinion. Just seeing them. They look like goth punks, like satanic goth punks or some shit. I don't fucking know. But anyway, so he, Hammerhead dies. So basically, I think everybody except, oh, that's right. That's what happens. Laura gets drug off because Nelson goes to save her from one of the fucking creatures, and she's dragged off into the fleshcraft. I had to watch it a few times to really
catch what happened.
Yeah, because it was really confusing. I was like, what happened? Because you see like this flower kind of thing, and it closes.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that was the craft, and then you see this big dildo kind of like warp out of the picture. It looked like a dildo, did it not?
It did.
It was really weird looking. It looked like a fleshlight. Like that's what it, like a really deformed fleshlight. That was a reject one from the future. But it closes and it warps away, basically, and he screams about how they changed time. He's like, but that changes time, and they're so stupid they don't even realize it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, but I guess he took her because the brain bug is him.
Who knows?
So he was in love with her, maybe? I don't know. I hope there's a sequel.
Because that's where the movie ends, guys.
Yeah, that is where the movie ends.
Him yelling about it.
I know
how they're stupid or whatever.
And I hope I explained it good enough for you guys, because it's really, there is a lot going on in this movie. That's the abridged version of like everything that happened. Like I didn't write everything down, just tried to like kind of touch on points that, you know, I thought were silly, or I don't know. Like I said, I don't think it's a bad movie. I just admire it for what it did, just like I would with like violent shit. It's a bigger story than any other movie in Hollywood. Think about it. Fleshcraft. That's a pretty aggressive storyline to try
make that a porn.
To do with like a low budget on. You know what I mean? Like Fleshcraft.
Be a good porno.
2025. Where all the aliens just fuck each other and fuck all the Earths.
Yeah.
That's like Earth girls are easy too or something.
Fleshcraft.
Fleshcraft 2025. Bitches are easy.
Oh my god.
Okay. Anyway, so do you really hate it that much? Yes. I mean, like, after all that?
I hate it.
Wow, man. I got to push ourselves to go down this path, you know what I mean? Like, we got to, I don't know, I didn't know what it was going to be like. And I bet you there's going to be worse ones than this down the road.
Probably.
So we can use this as a reference point for you.
That'll work.
In the future. It's like we do with Howling. So, anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Brittany sure as hell didn't. She hated me for subjecting her to all these films, like she always does.
No, I didn't hate Cherokee Creek, so
okay,
that's
all right.
Fine.
So that's the winner of the two.
I'm glad we did this because I feel like if we would have had to watch the Chihuahua one and Beasties, I probably would have fucking just killed you.
Yeah, I mean, even I watched the trailer.
It would have just been straight murder.
Literally, guys, it's two Chihuahuas that are sitting on someone's couch, and someone just videotaped them barking at the door. And then they put subtitles underneath it and like made a story around how they walked.
Magical.
And barked. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm going to find it and watch it now.
Well, I'll show you guys the trailer. I'll like post it or something if you guys like twist my arm to show you, or just look it up. Because I'll forget to put it in the episode. Yeah, so you dodged a bullet with that one, guys, and you did too, Brittany, so be thankful for that. But would you guys check these movies out? Which of the two would you say that you enjoyed the most, or would want to watch after listening to this? I'll put the timestamps, of course, like I always do, on our future episodes, so from here on out. But guys, thanks again for coming by. We will be back with a brand new episode next week. We're going to be doing Kids and Holes in the Ground as a hint. Actually, I'll just tell you what it is. We're going to be doing The Pit, and we're also going to be doing Hole in the Ground, which is a new movie that just came out. Cool. So old and new. Is that cool with you?
Sounds good.
All right, guys. And as always...
Go fuck yourself. I'm just kidding. God. Stay weird, monsters.
Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. Tune in every Monday for a brand new episode.